piece, it falls apart, the novice prime. Player to a coach, I'm coming down. Layers to expose and move around. Displaying, staying golden on the crown. The pain was I was chosen for.
Welcome back to Love Frequency this week, where we elevate our pain into power. This week is a very touchy topic because I feel like it could resonate with a lot of people, and it's basically about being a savior. Where do you feel the savior complex came from? I believe that it came from, for some of us who can relate, to our childhood. Those of us who had no choice but to show up. Maybe you were the oldest, or maybe you were the most mature out of your siblings, or maybe you were the only sibling. But a lot of us growing up like the 80s and the 90s, or probably even before then, some of us had to really take care of our parents or take care of the household, or was very independent at a very young age. And we had no choice but to level up and mature. With that being said, did we want to do that? Probably not, because we were very young. So what that does is makes us hold our feelings in, because we were told at a young age to be strong and you can do it and you got it. It really wasn't none of that crying. Like, you couldn't really cry. You couldn't really show your sensitivity or your sensitive side, whether you're a man or a woman. It's just depending on where you grew up at, that's the way things were. What happens, I think, is that when you get older, you start to choose partners based on saving them. So once again, you may see two people and you may see one that is doing everything, being the leader, while the other one is being dependent, not stepping up, not bringing what they should to the relationship, where it becomes unbalanced. So that can create a imbalanced relationship where one person may be given more than the other, and it can definitely stress or strain the relationship. To me, that comes from childhood, comes from being, like your mother or your parents always told you, you could do it, you could be strong, you could be that leader. So when you get older, you tell yourself the same things. You may unconsciously look for partners where you can take care of them, save them. And if you can't, you feel like you failed at life or that you're not enough. I rarely have ever seen prior two powerful couples or two strong couples. And usually when I do see that, it usually seems to be a healthier relationship. I'm not saying one is wrong, better than the other. I'm just saying, based on my experience, what I have seen growing up, most people that's strong and leaders, they don't really like to choose people that's just as strong and a leader as them, because some of that stuff can stem from childhood. Having to do everything on your own. Why do you feel like you need to do everything by yourself and don't receive help? Relationships are about partnerships. They're about balance. So your partner adds, you add, everything is healthy, everything is aligned. It's not you do everything and let your partner sit back and relax and be passive, and you know what I'm saying? Unless that's what you like. So this video isn't to say that it can apply to everyone. It's just saying that from my experience, what I have seen, and then the topic that I want to talk about is the savior complex, us growing up as childhood, having to really take care of the family, sometimes not by choice and just being that independent person, but who shows up for you in the end? Who shows up for you to say everything's going to be okay? I got your back too. Take a break this week and let me step in and take things over. Because sometimes, if you notice, when you do try to do that, people feel uncomfortable by it. They feel very anxious. They have to get up. They have to do something. Otherwise, they just feel like it's not real. It's not real love. I really want people to really take a step back and really look at themselves. Take counseling if you need to, and really figure out where and why you feel like maybe some people can't show up for you. Maybe because they haven't. Maybe because when we were younger, maybe people didn't show up for us. Going back to what I said, the topic, maybe people didn't show up for us because they thought we were the strong ones. And we always said that we didn't need help, that we didn't need someone to do this for us. So I really want everyone to really take a look at that and figure out, where did that come from? As we get older, I feel like a lot of us is unlearning a lot of things that we thought were right growing up, that really wasn't okay, that really does affect our relationships and how we show up for ourselves, number one, and for other people. It's okay to put yourself first, because guess what? If you are not healthy, if you are not okay, you cannot give and show up 100% to give your best self to someone else. in that relationship. So it's very important that you take care of you first. And if someone isn't showing up for you, how you're showing up for them, it's time to evaluate that friendship or that relationship, because everything should be balanced. And sometimes in relationships, that may look something like, let's say you move in with a partner. Let's say the partner wants to try to help you with stuff. You clean the house by yourself. You do the groceries. You do everything by yourself. You don't want your partner to help you. That can come off as controlling. Depending on the relationship, some people may see that as a good thing because some people like to be a pillow princess and have someone else do all the work for them. But there is some relationships where they do genuinely may want to help you. So it's okay to take a step back and allow someone to help you clean, allow someone to show up for you and show you who they are and how they can contribute to this relationship. But being controlling in a relationship comes from that savior complex, going back to potentially childhood, having to once again do everything yourself as the leader. So you get in a relationship and feel like it could come off as controlling to that person. You're controlling the finances, you're controlling the household, you're controlling the responsibilities, when really you have to allow that person to do their job. For example, if you know this week it is your partner's job to, let's say, cook dinner, do not stand over them and control them on how they should cook dinner. Do not yell at them. Do not make them feel uncomfortable. Do not do any of that. Maybe they are probably cooking the food wrong, but don't be like a parent. That's the word, a parental to that person. Allow them to show you how they can cook, even if they're doing it wrong, and maybe constructively next time show them, in a positive way, how to maybe cook the food. I'm just using that as an example. But some people like to come in a household, yell at their partner, tell them, maybe they're not doing it right. You're not cooking this right. You're not cleaning it this way. That is wrong. Allow them to show up and do their part for the week. And then maybe the next day, do the cooking and cleaning. How, sometimes people have to show people, lead by example, versus like being nagging and yelling at them, because that once again comes from childhood. Maybe their parent or their grandmother yelled at them on how they were supposed to clean the house and do the chores. So once again, when they get into a relationship, they yell at their partner about how they should cook and clean and control the household, because that's how they grew up. Some of these things we've learned as childhood that we need to kind of unlearn that, because it can be unhealthy in a relationship. One person, it can come off as controlling. Maybe the next person, it may come off as they're being a very big helper. They're just taking care of the duties of the household. And I really think relationships teach us how to be better at relationships. The more we get into relationships, the more we date, the more we grow, we learn, and that person mirrors things within ourselves that we need to maybe change and grow from. But I know last week, piggybacking off of what I said, I'm giving the reverse of that, like someone that's doing too much, meaning like before I was saying and showing you how someone does too little in a relationship, where when you take a step back, you notice that they're not showing up for you at all. Showing up too much in a relationship is also a negative thing, because you're showing that maybe you don't trust your partner and what they can do. You don't believe in them enough that they can get the task done or the job done. Maybe that came from childhood where someone failed you. So now going forward in life, you have to do everything on your own the right way, because maybe you're afraid that this person may continue to fail you. But if you don't allow things in life to be balanced, you would never know genuinely how to receive. You got to give and take in a healthy relationship. Learning how not to be too controlling, take that step back, allow that person to show up, and vice versa. Know when to take over and, be the leader in a situation, and not allowing everything to fall on you, because that's what you were used to. That's what you grew up with. That's how your parents, maybe growing up in a one person parent household, whatever, that you had to do all those assignments. But as adults, we're unlearning a lot of stuff that potentially were toxic as kids. You don't have to be the strong one in that healthy relationship. But the sad part about it is, the reason why I talk more about people that's taken so much in relationships, because there's a lot of takers than it is givers to me. People don't mind sitting back and sitting comfortably while you do all the work. Knowing when to identify and pick and choose the right tribe that is able to balance that out. Today, you could take a break, take the load off, and allow your tribe, the good tribe, to do that task. So over controlling in a relationship is very much so not healthy at all. But as I said, that kind of potentially could have started in childhood. So know when to take a step back to see how people show up for you and know when to take the lead. And with that being said, getting into the cards is very interesting this week, I would say. We got both the yin and the yang. So what does that tell me right there? Balance. Because here's the thing. Yin is the female version, is basically saying, let me receive. Let me take a step back. It's okay to give up control. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. This applies to everyone. It's okay for you to take a step back and rest and allow people to show up. On the other hand, it's that balance. It's giving that yang, which is showing, as I mentioned, when to step in and be a leader in a positive way, not a negative way. So balance. That's what I get from the cards. And then the last one, we've seen this one before, is the deep knowing. Deep knowing spiritually, you have what it takes. You're a spiritual person. You're a spiritual being to be able to decipher that relationship that you're in or that situation that you're in, to know when to balance the scales. Giving, taking, receiving. When to fall back. Maybe this relationship, this has a deeper meaning, and I'm going to go into it further. But deep knowing is almost like a spiritual heartbeat. So you're in a relationship that has that alchemy, like whoever, you're going to meet or that you're with, it's a balanced relationship and someone that's very meaningful in your life. I think I've read this card also before in the past, but as mentioned, when it shows up in a different manner and different type of cards, it could kind of be, vibrate differently. So reading the cards, we all have yin and yang. Some of us have more yang than yin and vice versa. So it's important to always remember the balance. So this yang is representing the yang card, the masculine principle of movement and creativity, the power to make things happen and take action, of course. You're being a leader, you're being strong when to take action. Yang represents the power of action, the energies that propel the world forward and manifesting thoughts and desires into concrete form. Relationships, what is that saying? Circumstances are supporting action on their part. It's okay to make the first move, of course, because this is the masculine card. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand in matters of the heart. There is movement toward your highest good. Go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air. And now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Take the lead. I like that. So now we're going to read the feminine version, which is yin. This tells me the yin card. This is the feminine principle, receiving, letting someone else make the first move. Don't do everything yourself. Okay? Knowing when to fall back and see how that person show up for you. Gathering information, taking cues, the art of conscious allowing to receive. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming for you. The relationship part of this. Let others take the lead right now. Let them take the lead. Your power lies in small gestures, soft awareness, and conscious surrender. By yielding to the reins, you will find yourself effortlessly moving closer to what you truly desire. So I feel like one is telling you, take the lead. One is telling you, take a step back. As I mentioned, this is telling you to balance. It's knowing when to take the lead. It's knowing when to take a step back so that your relationship can have that fruition and that deep knowing. But guess what? This is a psychic card. This is an intuition card. This is already telling me that you know what you need to do in a relationship, whether that be move forward or take a step back. You already know what to do because you have that spiritual intuition. and that deep knowing. Okay? And while I end this reading and this conversation for the week, a lot of people don't really want to hear this part that I'm about to say. But sometimes the partners that we choose, we have to take accountability because we see where it is that we went wrong in that situation because we already know. But yet we allow ourselves to, some of us need to see if something is bad for us. I know that sounds crazy, but it's almost like some people need to go through the fire to see, like, wow, that situation was toxic. Why do you put yourself in situations where it's not probably going to last longevity? Because you already know that that person isn't able to be a balancer. You already know, because you've always been the person to handle everything and be the leader, that you jumped in impulsively to, I don't know, some people think that they could change people. You can't change nobody. It doesn't take 3, 4, and 5 years for you to realize that that person is who they are. There's only 2 things that you can do. Number 1, that is change yourself, control yourself, get therapy for yourself, and understand who you are to accept that person for who they are. Number 2, leave them the fuck alone for somebody that's more balanced for you, that's more on your level, that's more of a give and take person, that's more equally yoked for you. But yet, once again, we usually don't choose those type of people. We usually choose people because of the savior complex. For some of us, the topic is about being a savior complex, having that. So we usually choose the people that's more dependent and then cry about it. Stop crying about stuff and complaining about things that from the beginning, that you saw the red flags, you saw the signs, you saw where this person was before. It doesn't take a rocket science or even a psychic ability to know how someone's going to show up for you. Look at what they were doing before they met you. What have they been doing the past year for themselves, the past 2 years for themselves? If you pay attention to how someone takes care of themselves, mind, body, and soul, you will see how they would be in a relationship. It doesn't take a psychic person to see that. What did Cardi say? It's right there. It's in front of you. People, it's right there. It's right in front of you. I see it. So we'll cry about it. We'll talk to our friends and stuff about it, family about it. What should I do? You know what you need to do. But you chose this person because a lot of stuff that we need to learn and heal within yourself is that savior complex, that always trying to be chosen, self-love. If you really love yourself, you would not sit up there and allow someone to mistreat you, talk to you any kind of way. And don't worry, I've been there before many times. So that's why I'm able to speak it now. Talk to you crazy, be in abusive relationships. It starts with you. It starts with self-love. It starts with walking away, loving yourself enough and loving that person to say, this is not for me. I love you enough, but I have to walk away because it is messing with my mental health. And this is not a healthy situation that I would like to be in. Point blank, period. Because let me tell you something. You give someone a chance the first month of dating them. Next thing, your days become 60. Days become 90. Days become a year. Next thing, you're in a 5-6 year relationship. It's not going nowhere. And it's been the same shit for those past 6 years with that same person. Then you know what people do when you do try to walk away? They try to, I'ma change. Well, you know what I'm saying? You know the whole story, the whole spill. People try to say they're going to change. They're going to try to do this and that. But why haven't you been doing that the past 6 years? They're playing you because they know that they don't want you to leave that situation. Because if a person really respects you and they respect themselves, they're going to come in that relationship from the ground running, being a good person for you, standing on business for you, showing up for you. It shouldn't take somebody 2 and 3 years to show up for you when you're about to walk away from them. People do that shit all the time. It's a game. Life is so short. Life is short to be playing with people like that. Stop playing with people's emotions and come ready. I'm not saying that life is perfect where everybody has to be healed, because guess what? In life, you're going to always be healing from something. Grieving, whether somebody passed away, grieving from health, whatever. We're always going to be learning something, growing and healing in life. But it's all about how you handle toxic situations as a person. How are you as a person? So don't let people keep bamboozling you into that relationship and crying and shit. No, they're doing that to keep you tied up. Stop holding up people's soulmate by doing that BS, okay? They don't love you. They don't love themselves. When you love somebody and when you love yourself, you start off on good terms. You don't start off on bad terms. And I'm going to speak on that in another video. That's going to be our next video. Starting off on good terms, not bad terms, meaning karmic energy. Do not start a relationship already bad. I think I talked about that, like giving yourself a good start with someone. This is about starting off with good karma, because let's say that person had bad karma. Let's say they cheated on their spouse or whatever. I don't know. Or they was abusive to their spouse, whatever. Now they're with you in a relationship. And let's just say, I don't know, maybe it was a quick, I don't know, like a rebound or something. That tells me that it can go either way. Not saying that there's relationships that can work out. But what I'm saying is that spiritually, you're a spiritual person. You have to make sure you are spiritually right and choosing spiritually right people, because you can pick up their bad karma just by being with them. Knowing that, let's say they left a situation on bad terms, hurt that person, and now they're trying to jump into a relationship with you because they know you're a good person. That can kind of go on bad energy and negative energy, even though you're not a bad person, but just because you chose a negative karmic situation with this person and it didn't start off on good karma, that's what I'm saying. We'll get into that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Not to be too long. Hopefully you guys like the cards this week. So definitely make sure you're manifesting. And I will honestly say for October, the prior months we did soulmate and we did money alignment. So October month, we're going to do a clearing of positive, just energy, good vibes, because I think we need that right now in the world. We need some good energy, period.
Fate is from divine and aligned. Nature been a fine friend of mine. Sacred in the kind set of arms. Saving broken heart, no rewind. Creating more than art.